So I first knew in my third year of uni where I did an elective at UNSW on organizational psychology. So that was the first time I was exposed to organizational psychology. To that point, I thought there was only clinical psychology and wasn't too sure about that. And from that point, I realized that I wanted to work in organizations in the future. So I did a development program that consulted for firms in Hong Kong, which was a great experience, and realized that I was interested in organizational psychology. Yeah, it's funny. No one day ever looks the same at work, but the responsibilities are fairly similar, but the days always look different. So some days I'm in back-to-back meetings, whether they're kind of internal, external, whether they're co-creation or collaboration sessions, whether it's opportunities for innovation or simply just project management meetings, kind of updating project timelines, getting clear on deliverable expectations, talking through hours, reviewing budgets, so forth. And then other days it's full day facilitation in front of a room, working through business planning or designing strategy through process facilitation or content facilitation, which is kind of that pure training and development lens. And then finally the third day could be I'm deep in report writing, insights, analysis. So writing the observations, the evidence maybe that supports that, the impact out of it, and then just bringing together kind of what a report and then design principles and so forth.
I think the breadth of it and just being able to, something that I'm really passionate about is helping people. And I think helping people in the work context, because there's so many nuances. You have leadership, you have team effectiveness, you have diversity and inclusion and motivation, engagement, there's attraction and retention. There's just so many different components that tie into org psych principles in a work context. And I think that variety is something that really, really excites me.
I love lots of things about working in this space. I feel really, really fortunate that we get to work in this area. I think the thing that I love the most is the complexities around it. It's a lot of problem solving and it's a lot of dynamic thinking, and every problem is different. You're working with so many different stakeholders. You've got different demands from each person. It's not just like a one-on-one, really clear, I'm supporting this person. It's like, okay, this person wants this, but my employees want that, but this is going to impact this. And I just find that fascinating, trying to come up with a solution where you've got all of these different elements involved. Then overlaying that with psychology and really thinking about it from a psychological lens and being best practice and the research, but having to modify that to fit the organization, because you're never going to be able to do best practice once you're actually going live. So how do you tweak that? And then also aligning to your role as a psychologist, where is my position in this and how do I align that to my ethics? So I think the complexities of it just create such interesting work, and it just keeps it so dynamic and intellectually stimulating. So I find that element of it so engaging.
Yeah, so during the second year of Masters, I was looking at human factors consultancies to work at, so just sort of browsing websites, and I came across Tactics website, which essentially had a inquire about careers with us section, and I filled that out, and a few days later I had an email back from one of the directors, which was essentially to the effect of, I didn't know that this function was still working on the website, but turns out we're hiring, so come in for an interview. And went in for those interviews, and I've been there for nearly 3 years now.
So it's to be brave in the work that you do and the work you choose to do. And the second one is to give yourself second chances. And that really comes off the back of the first one.
In trying different things, learning what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy, and then that way kind of forming your career that way. And people these days have so many different careers, so I think it just helps with that.
That networking side of things, obviously, join up to your College of Org Psych as well, your COP through the APS, another great way to connect with the community as well. If you worry a little bit around networking as well, there's that great community there where we're a small group, but we are quite supportive of each other as well. And there's very passionate people around continuing the profession, so they're happy to give advice and mentor and support the next people coming through as well.
The best advice I think that I would give to students is be really positioned in what you want. Do the mapping out of the organisation or the market or your own interests. Be really considered when you're thinking about, right, what am I looking to achieve, and be strategic around it. Market map, be assertive, go out, connect. Like, don't be afraid to knock on doors and be really in charge of your own career.
Be curious, ask questions, build your network, and also try as many different experiences as you can, whether through your placements, but also your first job once you graduate from your master's. Any experience is valuable. It doesn't matter whether you're picking potatoes or working at a global bank.
Do a diverse range of placements in any areas that you think you'll like, but also I think try areas that you might not think are suitable for you, because it might be completely different. And I think the only way you can figure it out is to actually do it.
It just depends on probably the experience and how long you've been in the job and your career, but I'm gonna go, but you never know, because I don't know.
Yeah. So I think this is in the middle between fact and myth. The reason why is because it really depends on what space you're in and I guess what level you're at. So obviously earlier in your career, you're still building up your capabilities, your expertise. So that might be like entry level pay. But as you slowly progress up and you do become an organizational psychologist, I think there is potential to earn some of the big bucks. But yeah, it really depends on what space you play in as well.
Fact.
It's in between because there's a sort of context there. So I'll say fact for now because you have the potential, I think, to earn more. I think in terms of if you go internally or even for consultancy, you can obviously earn more money there as well, but you've obviously got to have the business in-house on the side of that as well, whereas your clinical people are more based around hourly rates.
Okay. I'll go myth. I think it's an interesting question though, because the term HR now means so much, so you can see that there is an overlap. But I think the way that HR professionals versus org psych professionals attack or come into certain issues is with a different lens.
Myth. Yes, it's not just glorified HR. Some people play in the HR space. So like myself, I'm in organizational development, which is more closely tied to HR, I guess. But then there's like human factors, which is very different to HR. And I think we apply different lens to how we think about things, and we apply our psychology skills and our evidence-based practice. So I think we add more value than just being glorified HR.
Same myth for this one. I think there is an aspect of working for a consultancy or for-profit businesses where you are worried about, profit and meeting the bottom line. But I think what sets us apart as kind of employees within an organisation is actually being registered psychologists and having a code of ethics that we are required to act by, and sort of applying all of our human-centred and centric way of thinking to dealing with issues in the workplace. So I think there is the aspect of corporate matters, but I think organisational psychologists are certainly more likely to have a human-centric view of approaching issues in the workplace.
should be. It should be to me.
It should be.
Again, that's individual, isn't up to them. But yeah, I think for most of us, we come in with that real drive to help people and put people at the focus of everything we do. So that's where we come in and hopefully are able to drive that thinking and understanding with organisations as well, people first, and then all the good things that when you look after your people will flow after you get that right as well.
Myth. Definitely a myth. However, I will say that what the expertise that we do bring allows us to be a really good consultant, I suppose, on corporate matters and processes, because we get to bring in that people element and that people view, and that often can change the design of processes or help them address corporate matters in a better way to bring a people first lens to it.
So, obviously there's so many aspects to being an organizational psychologist. Yes, you may deal with people with lots of different emotions, but that's not it.
All of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd say that's a myth. I don't think that is the primary function of an org psych. Obviously, if you have someone who is sad in the organisation, it's great to help them, but we are not therapists. That's definitely not our primary role.
Myth. So taking on that team, organizational and individual lens as well, we don't just cater to individuals and work on like employee engagement or mental health issues. So in my space, that's not really something I do either. So it really depends where you work. But I would say we do a lot of interventions for like team conflict issues, and also at the organization level play a factor in that too. And obviously we want the best for our people, and we want them engaged to be able to perform at their best. But it's not just about how they're feeling. We obviously want them to be thriving in the workplace, but it's not just all about that.
That's the myth. Organisational psychologists can be employed everywhere and anywhere. Anywhere there is people, organisational psychologists can be there.
Okay. Myth. Big myth. And I think again, even when I was doing my placements in UX, I was working at, smaller agencies, and there are so many boutique firms. It doesn't necessarily need to be a large global organization.
Okay. Myth. Definitely. I mean, that's fun. Being employed by a global organization has so many opportunities that come with that, and so if you get that opportunity, it's definitely a path you want to pursue. Go for it. But I think over time, and especially more in recent times, mid-level or even smaller businesses are recognizing the power that org psychs can bring and the influence they can have, and so there are definitely also job opportunities at that level as well.